when you're moving from place to place, place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you so much for staying with us. We begin conversations this morning in studio as we speak with PC Maurice Goddard of the Tourism-Oriented Policing Section, as well as WPC Sandradee Roachford-Jacob of the same section. We're talking about cruise ship season and security awareness. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Adanna. How are you?
I am well, thanks, and it's a pleasure to have you on set with us this morning. Very interesting topic this morning. I know usually when we speak about the cruise ship season, we speak about dollars and cents, right? And this is a very, very important topic for all of us here on the island of Tobago, taken from a different angle. So talk us through exactly what type of awareness or what type of security we're talking about as it relates to the season, which we call the cruise ship season.
So, what we do basically is go to all the sites that the foreigners will usually visit, from Crown Point to Charlottesville, all the popular sites, reef, the beaches, because some of them visit some of the beaches that, sort of unknown. So we try to do that to the rainforest, Argyle Waterfall, Pigeon Point, Combie, you name it, even the fort in Plymouth. So we do that kind of security. We try to be proactive instead of being reactive.
So basically, it is a kind of accompanying to the tourists, as well, at least in the tourist season, to have an extra presence in those areas to ensure safety and security?
Yes, not only in the tourist season, but, as you know, there are tourists here all the time. Mm-hmm. But especially cruise ship season, we try to be more visible, so at least people are comfortable with seeing us there.
And as you're talking about not just during the cruise ship season, I want to know a little bit more about this section, the Tourism-Oriented Policing Section. Just talk us through some of your roles and responsibilities and some of the things we can expect from this section on a regular basis.
Right, so this section is based under the Community Policing Section also of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. But our role and function is to deal directly with foreigners and visitors, whether they are local or international. We also deal with the hotels, guest houses, villas, some apartment buildings that rent to visitors. We do the beaches, we do schools also. And we do other lectures that people will think. We're part of the tongue meeting and so on. So we have a wide scope, but our main focus is in tourism.
All right. And in terms of providing that measure of security and reassurance, I suppose, for tourists, especially when they come to the island, and as you mentioned earlier, that sometimes they go to some beaches that are unpopular, might be secluded, it might be, not known to very many people, and so sometimes they find comfort in those sort of areas. Do you also provide any type of sensitization to tourists themselves, or is it that you're just present there in those spaces where they are likely to be?
Well, sometimes we sensitize them, and the other times, you just let them be, let them enjoy the island, because this is what they are there for. And sometimes you want people to feel safe, and then you don't want them to go and blog it negatively. So you just make sure that you're there, they see you, and sometimes they approach you and they feel comfortable that you're there.
All right. And in terms of your presence there, have you noticed any change in terms of, human behavior? The reason why you are there, of course, is to protect them, for them to feel safe, to secure the spaces. Do you see a change in behavior of the persons who might be trying to be a little bit naughty around that time, and your presence, of course, helping them to stay away and represent Tobago well in terms of not interfering with or causing any type of mischief in those areas?
Yeah, we've also seen that a change. In the last season, we had no crimes against tourists, which was a plus. We also try to sensitize and educate the people in the villages, and also the people that we think that might be of some they might be adverse to the whole sector, because you're not just talking about the person, but we're talking about the sector. So we try to educate them also.
Right. So is it that you have community? I know you said you're part of the community policing. Do you have that type of as you're talking about here, that type of community consultations or community outreach? Let's say, for instance, the area of, let's say, where the main ridge is. Do you have any kind of outreach for the persons in the community to say, listen, we're going to partner with you to ensure we provide a safe space for our tourists, because we want, of course, to maintain that level of welcome to Tobago?
Yes. We do some one-on-one, some with small groups, even with the tour operators and the maxi and taxi drivers. So even when we're there and they are visiting, we interact with the tour operators and maxi drivers. So they're on board and they in turn pass it on to other people. So it trickles down, so it's not really hard.
All right, and it's something, of course, you enjoy.
Of course.
I know the TTPS is here to protect and serve with pride, and so, of course, as a measure of service to the people in the communities, not just the tourists. I would see it as a service also to the residents here on the island of Tobago, because, I mean, as you mentioned earlier, whether you are visiting locally, whether you're a local visitor or an international visitor, meaning somebody from Trinidad, let's say I'm visiting Bloody Bay, I'm not from there, I'm a tourist to Bloody Bay, aren't I? Yes. So I suppose your presence there is also to make me feel that measure of safety and comfort as well. In terms of operations with the units, what are some of your projections for upcoming seasons, or even your expectations for this season that we're in now? Not just the cruise ship season, but also you have Christmas, you have so many festivals happening or festivities rather happening on the island of Tobago. And of course, when we move into next year, there are other festivals upcoming where we would expect more tourists. What are some of the things you are looking forward to or to put in place that you have noticed in terms of your operations now that you think you can beef up, or you think you can continue to expand on as operating smoothly?
So I'm looking at, basically, manpower is a problem in most organizations, not only the TTPS. But we're working very hard to make sure that we put measures in place that will be comfortable for everyone, not only the foreigners, because some of them come for 1 day, 2 days, a week, and they're going back. But we have to also be concerned about our people here. So we try to put things in place, have a presence out there, and try to be more proactive than reactive. We look at crime, and everybody's talking about crime, but nobody's saying anything when it's going down. And it's a plus that it's going down now, because the figures will show. And, we thank God that at least we're trying to put things in place.
Right.
I also will add to that by saying, even though we are a small unit and we have so many activities coming up in the future and in this present season, the tourist-oriented police under COPS, not only the officers who will do the security measures within the space, but we have other outstations that will collaborate with us and bring that strength and awareness to the public. So with all of this within the season, we have a lot of walkabouts, sensitizing the community about the Christmas season and the safety, and the children as well in the school. We do such, even at the corridor and all of that. And doing that, we just not tourist-oriented police, but all divisions or stations in Tobago, we come together and form that strength to make everybody on our island safe. Not just the tourists, but as you said before, our local tourists, which are us, our domestic tourists, which are the Trinidadians, our Caribbean tourists, and international. And for me, I must say to the public that customer service is most important in this industry. Not just for the police officers, but for the taxi drivers, the maxi drivers, the stakeholders who sell the craft work, the tour operators, the fisher folk, because they are going on the beaches. they are meeting the public when they walk the streets to assist the tourists, help them to cross the street. You know, beware that we are tourist island. We have tourists on the island. So when they come and you realize they want to cross, it will be very kind to stop.
I actually saw that happening yesterday evening. If I can, I was driving, I was entering into a side street, and there was a gentleman sitting on the corner. You know, as they do, they're hanging out on the corner.
They do.
And I saw the tourist about to cross, and he came out into the street and he put his hand up and he said, "Stop, stop, allow them to cross," which I wasn't going to do, but I found it to be so, as you mentioned it, that came back to my mind, and I found it to be so beautiful that we, you know. He was so emphatic in the fact that, you know, we need to allow them to stop.
We have to sensitize the public that you are part of us. We want to make Tobago special, our little Tobago, and it all starts with us. Let us practice tourism, customer service, not just when it is tourist season, but throughout the year. And by doing that, we become perfect. Even when you go to the store as a local person, don't wait for us to ask you for something. Approach us nicely. How can I help you today? And try to sell something. Do the same for the client when they come off the cruise ship. Entertain them. Make them feel comfortable. If you see them going in the wrong direction, guide them. Hey, you know we don't have any sightseeing across on this side, no tourist attraction. So I think you need to turn around and give a direction to a site. Or if you want to accompany them, that will save volume for us in Tobago. Customer service.
And what a lovely, lovely way to wrap this conversation this morning, talking about customer service and the fact that we all need to partner together to ensure that our tourists and even our local tourists feel safe, feel welcomed, and feel at home here on the island of Tobago. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with PC Goddard and Sandradee Roachford-Jacob this morning, talking about community tourism-oriented policing. Yes, of course, we all have to be a part of that conversation. We all have to make each other feel welcomed and at home and safe in our spaces where we are. So let's collaborate, as we always say, with the TTPS to ensure that we have a beautiful, beautiful space, especially in the festive season. We have to go for a short break before we continue conversations here in studio this morning. And as we go, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.